The Special Committee on NIS Reform was formed after a rocky start. A problem was triggered by comments made by Democratic Party lawmakers. The comments were that President Park Geun-hye should resign and that she is following in the footsteps of her father, former President Park Chung-hee. The presidential office of Cheongwa-dae and the Saenuri Party were enraged by the remarks made by lawmakers Chang Han-ah and Yang Seung-jo. These comments led to a temporary boycott of the Special Committee on NIS Reform, but things got back to normal soon after. However, the tension and conflict continued as Saenuri Party lawmakers requested that the two Democratic Party lawmakers who made the controversial comments be expelled from the National Assembly. Reporter Park Ji-won covered the story on the mounting political friction at the legislature, which now has resumed normal operations.
Arirang News.
Korea's railway union workers declared an indefinite walkout for the first time in 4 years. The railway union workers are concerned about plans to establish a separate subsidiary to run a new bullet train. They believe the move marks the beginning of railway privatization. Korail responded by relieving more than 7,000 union workers involved in the strike from their positions. The walkout has led to a direct confrontation between Korail and its union workers, which resulted in a government announcement promising that there will not be any privatization. Reporter Kim Ji-yeon looked into the situation behind the scenes surrounding the possible privatization that railway union workers are concerned about.
Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Last Monday, a special ceremony was held for a team of some 500 aid workers that is being dispatched to the Philippines to provide aid in the medical, communication, and transportation fields.
We will do our best as medical corps officers to give our best medical support to the Filipino people who are still suffering.
And we, Marine Corps, will do our best to guard and restore the region.
It has been a month since Haiyan, one of the strongest typhoons ever, led to 7,500 casualties and 4 million displaced people in the Philippines. Reporter Kim Hyun-bin was at the special ceremony for the Joint Support Group being dispatched to the island nation, where help is desperately needed.
장 성택 일당은 당의 통일단계를 접먹고 당의 일적 용도 체계를 세우는 사업을 저해하는 반당 반혁명적 전파 행위를 감행하고.
On December 9th, there was breaking news that shook the Korean peninsula. North Korea's second-in-command, Jang Song-thaek, arrested. Any breaking news coming out of North Korea is always sure to be packed with intrigue and tension. The situation created a state of emergency for relevant parties in the South, and Unification Ministry Correspondent Hwang Sung-hee was no exception.
When I saw the breaking news, I was like, uh-oh, I'm expecting a really busy and hectic day for me because I knew that I'll be doing a lot of updates. There will be a lot of news coming in. So yeah, I was getting ready for a busy day.
Last Monday, at a regular lineup meeting.
다음 주에 저기 16, 17, 18, 17일
네.
날 해야 되겠지?
출연을 하는 게 나아요?
인덱스는 하루 하려고 그랬지. 17일 동안.
왜냐면 그걸 하루 출연으로 하려면은 너무 내용이 많아서 길어질 것 같고.
전문가를 볼까나? 예, 패키지 3개를 하고.
근데 거의 겹치는 내용일 것 같아서 왜냐면 권력 구조 변한 거 하나, 경제 하나, 뭐 대외 관계 하나는 할 거 아니에요.
네.
거기 안에 전문가 사운드바이스라고 그럴 거 아니에요.
그렇죠.
네. 그게 나을 것 같아요.
인덱스를 또 따로 받들어야죠.
Sung-hee's thoughts are filled with plans of North Korea-related packages for next week's newscasts. But just minutes later,
장성택 일당은
이거 지금 처음 들어오는 거예요?
보안기관에 대한 당적 지도를 약화시키는
그럼 5시에 받을 수 있겠네요. 지금 쫓아가고 있으니까.
News of Jang Song-thaek breaks. Sung-hee's schedule suddenly changes.
어차피 지원 씨가 대충 다 써놓은 거잖아요. 북한에서 나온 거는. 그거 플러스 이거 장성택 이거를 하나만 더 추가를 하고 그리고 통일부 거 뭐 그럼 사우스 코리아 리액션 뭐야 이러면은 통일부 얘기 그냥 되게 짧아요. 그거 하고 저는 힘들지 않아요.
그럼 성희 씨가 다 하는 걸로. 성희 씨는 이 처음이래요. 아 그래요? 이거 영상
The abrupt situation put the entire newsroom under alert. Everyone is watching the events unfold as they happen. Meanwhile, Sung-hee remains calm, even though she is under pressure to prepare her story right away. But she actually feels the pressure. There's a lot to do, from knowing the content thoroughly and writing the story, which leaves her no time to spare.
At first, I was assigned to write a package on Jang Song-thaek's purging. Well, not just a package, but an analysis of why he was purged and the aftermath of his ousting. But after the news broke of North Korea releasing pictures of Jang Song-thaek being arrested, I kind of sensed that there will be more news coming in and that I'll have to do a lot of more updates on the news, and so I thought it was better to just do a live connection from the news center for every newscast.
Sung-hee is writing her story at a fast pace. But there is still more.
저 18시 CG 하나만 만들어 주세요. 워딩. 네, 조선중앙통신에서 장성택 관련해서 얘기한 거. 그리고 그냥 북한 국기. 국기만요? 네네. 감사합니다. 네, 통으로 해주세요. 나 통일부 브리핑 올려주면 안 돼요? 두 번째 질문.
Sung-hee is dealing with the top story of the day, so everyone in the newsroom is putting their focus on her.
그래픽한 포토 아니에요?
네, 그래서 제가 18시는 이렇게 쓰긴 했는데. 포토 보여주면서
그러니까 컨펌을 했다는 것 자체를 그냥 밋밋하게 하는 것보다는 처음에 아예
네.
그렇게 그래픽한
아니 이게 컨펌했다는 건 뒤에 또 있고요. 처음에 포토부터 보여주고.
Sung-hee is a reporter with years of experience. So the newsroom team has a lot of trust in her and the stories she writes.
Central News Agency confirmed. Well, it's a really big story for people interested in North Korea because Jang Song-thaek is not only the second most powerful man in North Korea, but he's also Kim Jong-un's uncle, Kim Jung-un being the North Korean ruler. And Jang was seen as the mentor and the guardian of this young and inexperienced leader when he first came into power 2 years ago. And the fact that he was ousted just days before the 2-year anniversary of Kim Jong-un coming into power means, I think it signals perhaps Kim is now ready to stand on his own 2 feet and consolidate the North Korean power system as a one-man leadership system. And another thing is that this is the first time since, I think, 1970 that North Korea has released photos of this high-ranking official being arrested, which means that they do want everyone in the regime in North Korea to see the pictures, to be aware of Jang, of this powerful man that has been ousted. So in that sense, it's also, I think, significant.
The computer graphics for Sung-hee's story have come out.
네네네. 괜찮아요. 감사합니다.
5일날 처형됐다. 그 부분은 좀 사실관계가 다른 것 같은데요.
Sung-hee's face stiffens with more shocking news of the arrest of Jang Song-thaek, but she makes sure that the event does not steer her away from differentiating fact and rumor.
그 된 듯 YTN에 나오는 거? 그거는 speculation.
Sung-hee goes over her story meticulously to make sure she hasn't missed anything, despite her short window for preparation time. Moments later, she moves to the video editing room.
그림 이제 하기 시작했어요.
Sung-hee starts to feel the pressure as the broadcast hour approaches.
Aren't there reports? But there have been reports of a possibility that Jang Song-thaek has been executed.
예.
Can I ask you
근데
that?
그러고 그냥 그거 confirm 안 됐다고 아직. 예.
She makes final adjustments with the anchor about the questions she will be asked. Sung-hee hurries out of the room quickly. She takes her seat at the unmanned newsroom minutes before the broadcast.
Guys, a surprise move by North Korea yet again.
The North Korean government has released photos of Jang being arrested.
For the latest, we now go live to our Unification Ministry correspondent Hwang Sung-hee at the Arirang News Center. Sung-hee, so we have some breaking news coming out of North Korea.
Good evening, guys. A surprise move by North Korea yet again. Its state-run Korean Central Television released pictures this afternoon of Kim Jung-un's uncle Jang Song-thaek being arrested now.
It is much more effective to report live in the unmanned newsroom when delivering incoming news simultaneously.
All right, Sung-hee, so what is the South Korean government's response and analysis of this piece of news?
Well, at a press briefing earlier today, South Korea's Unification Ministry spokesperson Kim Hyun-bin said the government is keeping a close watch.
The breaking news all started from a single photo of Jang Song-thaek's arrest, but Sung-hee provides analysis as well as the South Korean reaction to the event.
Confirmed in any way.
Even after the news broadcast, there is no time to rest for Sung-hee. She has to get to work for the next newscast. In fact, she feels that her story could be written better if she had more time.
Released by the noise. 지금 고치려고 그러는데 앵커리드 이거 좀 약간 18시보다 줄여야 되는 거 아니에요? 아닌가? Had a release public.
First, Sung-hee starts revising the words of her story. She looks into the questions again as well. She also needs to communicate with the new staff members who change for every newscast. The most frustrating part is that she does not have enough information about North Korea. This is mainly because it is the most secretive state on Earth.
I usually report saying that I quote someone, I quote an organization that's claiming it. The organization that made the claim was, I think, a radio station, an internet-based radio station composed of North Korean defectors. So I'm sure they have their sources, but reporting on it, it's quite, I feel sketchy and iffy, but still it's news, so anything that I can get my hands on, I would like to report and say that this is some of the information coming out onto the media.
Sung-hee is now ahead of schedule for the 8 o'clock news. She finds a little more time to go over her story this time. This is the second time she's sitting in front of the live cameras today.
To begin this
this evening with
Finally,
news out of
the 8
North
o'clock news
Korea.
begins.
The Communist state has confirmed the ousting of Jang Song-thaek, the powerful uncle of North Korean leader Kim Jung-un. For our Unification Ministry Correspondent Hwang Sung-hee at the Arirang News Center. Sung-hee, fill us in with the latest.
Let's take a look at the photos making headlines. Now, they were released by North Korea.
Sung-hee's story leads off the newscast.
And they show Jang being removed by 2 military officers at Sunday's assembly of the Workers' Party Politburo.
Right, Sung-hee, there are also rumors that Jang Song-thaek had in fact been executed. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Ji-hye, there is speculation by Free North Korea Radio, which is a station organized by North Korean defectors living in South Korea, that Jang was executed in North Korea last Thursday. But again, this is just a speculation for now that hasn't been confirmed in any way.
That was our Unification Ministry Correspondent Hwang Sung-hee with the latest on North Korea's dismissal of Jang Song-thaek, the one second most powerful man in the regime.
Another intense moment has come and gone. The second live news connection has ended. She hasn't relaxed for a moment all day, and the day is not yet finished. Incoming news from North Korea almost always comes as a surprise. Sung-hee tries her best amid the unexpected situation, striving to write a better story.
We still need to find out where he is, and we still need to find out what will happen within North Korea after his ousting. So I think I will have to continue to cover that story. So I don't think it's complete yet, but it was, once again, it's always very interesting to cover news on North Korea because you never know what's happening and you never know what to expect. But finding out, and little by little, finding out information on that reclusive regime in itself is, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I enjoy it.
The next day, Sung-hee is out to cover a story.
네, 저 아리랑 TV에서 왔는데요.
She visits the Seoul office of the International Crisis Group.
So I'm sure you've done this a lot. But
She plans to get more information about the North Korean system for an in-depth report.
first took over 2 years ago.
It is an attempt to garner more accurate information to improve her story. Sung-hee continues her work with passion.
안녕하십니까.
네.
예, 반갑습니다.
네,
아, 예.
김건영이라고 하고요.
예.
18시 뉴스.
예, 예.
네.
양훈입니다.
아, 네.
예.
네, 많이 뵀습니다. YTN. 저희 방송에도 안 나오더라고요. So what is your view on this?
My first, reaction was, what is all this fuss is about? I mean, it's an international aerospace and it's just an imaginary line for the defense needs. So the problem is that, since the country, Northeast Asian countries will have conflict each other. So that's the reason.
So another reason to just
Right. Other reason to just
face off with each other.
Right.
But where does South Korea come into play here?
The problem is that the disputed area, especially around Yeodo, is actually not Chinese or not Japanese. I mean, we can claim that area because it's around our EEZ area. There is our
Exclusive
interest.
economic zone. Right.
So I mean, why they are fighting each other on our waters and on our aerospace? So we need to declare that this is the area that we can control. We are controlling it, but we are announcing it without any trouble or any dispute because I mean, we are taking a very careful step to have our understanding from the neighboring country, unlike China.
Is it not true that the air defense zone of Korea, the newly claimed one, overlaps with Japan's? Am I correct?
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
but Japan has no problem with that?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Well, I told you before. I mean, this is not about the territory or not about national aerospace. It's just the imaginary line, so it can overlap. But I mean, with those two countries have no problem, then they have no problem.
Oh, I see. So it's just China that both Korea and Japan and the US have problem.
Right. So that's why the China said that the Beijing said that it's regrettable because Korea is taking sides with Japan and US.
How do you think China will move forward from here?
Yeah, well, I mean, they will start doing what they're doing. Well, they are sending a lot of aircraft, and well, I mean, they will doing a regular patrol, and I mean, they will make a lot of fuss about this one. But I mean, I'm quite sure that this is for their internal politics, not for the international, the issue.
Relations.
Yes, because you see, well, the Xi Jinping has a lot issue to solve because with the Bolsheviks, and there's a lot of conflict inside their leadership.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, they have to divert the attention from the Chinese people. So I mean, that's why they are so big on this issue.
All right. Yep. So those are the 5 questions actually.
Yes.
And you have about 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes to gather your thoughts, and I'll see you downstairs in a little bit. Excellent.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joining us live in the studio to give us some answers to that question is Yang Uk, Senior Research Fellow at the Korea Defense and Security Forum. Mr. Yang Uk, thank you for joining us on the program.
Yeah, well, nice to hear. The exact wording of the U.S. State spokesperson Jang Song-thaek was appreciated. The real problem is not the ideas. The problem or conflict came to exist not because of the ideas, but because of the historical